What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Johnny. This is my 2006 Nissan 350Z, and I make videos all the time about it. I also have a MazdaMiata that I make videos about. If you're interested in either of those cars, or just JDM cars in general, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I post a bunch of videos like this all the time, and plus I go to a bunch of car shows, and just a whole bunch of car content in general. So please go ahead and consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Let's get into the content. I know it's been a little bit since I've posted a fun fact video about the Nissan Z, and we're back today finally with another one. I have 5 fun facts for you guys about Zs in general, not just the 350Z, all Zs in general. And today actually is a little heavier on the 300ZX side. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the 300ZX, but basically it is basically the Z that came before the 350Z. I would say this is the car that put Nissan Z on the map in America. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, let's start with number 1. We're gonna take it all the way back to 1961 when Nissan was just getting started. Mr. K, the CEO, he didn't really know how he was gonna start with his first sports car. And so he actually contacted Yamaha. Nissan at the time didn't actually exist. It was called Datsun. Yamaha and Datsun actually partnered up to create the very first Z car. Ironically enough, Nissan felt that Yamaha's 2-liter engine that they designed was not powerful enough for what they were looking for. So the Z prototype was actually scrapped completely. But get this, literally the next year, Yamaha actually went to Toyota with the exact same design, tweaked it a little bit, and then 3 years later, in 1967, the Toyota 2000 GT was released. With only being 351 of this car produced, the Z was almost doomed to begin with. So another interesting fact that I don't actually have written down right here, we can call this a bonus one, but in 1960, Nissan actually partnered with Prince's Motor Company and actually acquired it. They had a car called Prince's Skyline. This actually became the Nissan Skyline in 1966. All right, so going back to the list of facts I have right here, at number 2, it says many of the Z cars were actually more powerful outside the United States, which is kind of surprising. So specifically the 300ZX, in the United States, it came in 2 different motors. It had a 168 horsepower version and a 200 base horsepower version. And then outside of the United States, every single version of the car came with 228 base horsepower. So there's actually 2 reasons why this happened. Outside of the US, the engine actually had a longer cam duration. Also, there's less restrictions on emissions outside of the US, so that was another play on as to why it had more power. So another fun fact, number 3, kind of staying with the 300ZX, is that it was actually in the top 10 on Car and Driver's top 10 list for 7 years in a row in the 90s. A 2-door sports car from Nissan being top 10 7 years in a row is pretty insane if you think about it. All right, so number 4, so by production of the 300ZX in 1990, over 1 million Z cars had been sold in the United States alone, which is a huge feat for Nissan if you think about where they came from in the 60s. With the 300ZX actually finally becoming popular with drifters starting in the 90s. This kind of helped Nissan take off with the car scene in the early 90s. And lastly, number 5, kind of the main reason as why Nissan was even able to stay in the game for so long in the early 70s, 80s, 90s up until today, is that if it weren't for all of the interchangeable parts on all of the Nissan cars that were made, I don't think they would have been able to stay afloat until now. Back then, if you needed a part for your Nissan Z car, because there were so many cars that had interchangeable parts, you could probably find the car, which allowed you to keep your car on the road for even longer. And if it wasn't for this engineering feat from Nissan in the 90s, I don't think a lot of their cars would be on the road today. Neither would they be releasing a 2020 sports coupe for us, or the Nissan Z Proto, this far in the future. So thank you, Nissan design team, for making that happen. Anyways, I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's like insanely windy, all those trees, and it's just insanely windy. Anyways, you guys, that's basically all 5 facts I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you learned something, drop a comment down below. I actually had no idea that Nissan tried to partner with Yamaha at the very beginning to get started. And the fact that they went over to Toyota with the design instead is pretty insane. It's kind of backstabbing if you ask me. I guess that explains why Yamaha doesn't produce cars. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. Go ahead and drop a comment and hit the thumbs up button if you learned anything. And please do not forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thank you guys so much for joining us in today's video. I'll see you guys later. Peace out. I do want to jump on here real quick and say, I know these last 2 videos I posted weren't very vlog style. Let me know if you guys like the sit down videos more, or if you guys like the vlog style videos more, or if you guys just enjoy this and you want me to keep switching off, go ahead and let me know, and I'll basically do whatever you guys want me to do. So, yeah, that's it. Peace.